how to identify your target market, because if you try to market to everybody, you're going to end up selling to nobody. So identifying your target market is key to making sure that your product or your service or your offering sells the way you want it to, so you can get the results you want in your business. Let's talk exactly about how to do that right now. Okay, so first of all, if you're just starting out, I wanted to let you know that you can choose who you want to sell to. I know this is kind of a revolutionary concept, but one of the things we talk about when we talk about starting an authentic business and being who we are and being able to be ourselves is that we can actually choose who we work with. This is revolutionary, right? Because when we have a jobby job, often, we don't get to choose who the customers, the clients are, and we're going to have to be dealing with everybody. But when it's your business, you can choose exactly who you want to market to and exactly who you want to attract into your business and who you want to repel away from it, and that is fantastic. So you can actually start with your target market in mind. Mine is queer entrepreneurs. That's exactly who I want to talk to and work with, because that's who I am and that's what I know how to do, and that's fantastic. And then I can tailor my product or service to that segment of queer entrepreneurs, and you can do the same thing. You can pick, who are my people? What's my jam? Who do I want to talk to? Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to help? And I'm going to target my product or service to those people. Now, when you're choosing that target, I want you to make sure that that is very specific, okay? You don't want to say, and I see this mistake all the time, right? I see people say, oh, my target market is women. My target market is people under 30, right? My target market is college graduates or something like that. That is way too broad. There are way too many people. Women are not a monolith. People under 30 are not a monolith. College graduates are not a monolith. Those people think very, very, very differently. So the more specific you can get with what your niche is, the more specifically you are going to be able to market to them with a message that addresses their cares, their concerns, their fears, their hopes, their dreams, and that's what you want to get in. You want to be able to zero in on exactly what your target market is thinking, so that you can talk specifically to them, and on the service side so that you can help them the best, because you know exactly what outcomes they're looking for. You're going to be able to tailor your product or service to help them the best and get them those outcomes, and that's harder to do when you're talking to lots and lots and lots of people, right? So the more specific you can get, the better it's going to be to tailor your messaging, and the better your marketing is going to work. Now, if you are already in business, the best place to start is to look back over your data, and this can be your sales data, it can be your marketing data, but what we want to do is we want to see who has actually been engaging with your services, who's been engaging with your marketing. A lot of times we start out with a hypothesis and we think, well, this kind of person, this kind of segment is actually who's going to respond to my stuff, and it turns out that it's a kind of a different group of people that respond to our stuff. When I set out to work with queer entrepreneurs, my age range was pretty broad. I thought, well, 25 to 65. I don't really know. I found out over time, and this is not everybody we work with, but that most of the people that we work with tend to be in their 40s and 50s. That's kind of a sweet spot for people that are starting businesses. They've done a career already. They kind of know what they want to do. They kind of know what they don't want to do. That doesn't mean that we don't work with people that aren't, 25 sometimes or 65 sometimes, but most of the time, the people we work with are in their 40s and 50s. Knowing that by looking back over my data over time tells me exactly how to hone in and talk to these people, not only with what my message is, but also where to find them. A lot of my people are on Facebook, for instance, because they're not on, they're not the young kids on the snappy chats or on the TikToks or whatever. I know I sound middle-aged too. I'm almost 42. But a lot of people in their 40s and 50s are on Facebook, so that's where I do a lot of my marketing, and that's where I speak to my audience a lot, because that's where they live, and I need to know who they are, what they're thinking, and where they are before I can speak effectively to them. So if you're already in business, just make sure that whoever you are trying to talk to versus who's actually engaging are the same, and adjust as necessary if you're actually finding out that it's a different type of person or a little bit of a more of a narrow range than you originally thought. That's really, really good data to know before you move forward. The last thing I want to say to you about this is, don't be afraid to exclude folks in your marketing. That is not the same as excluding folks from your service line. I get asked a lot of times, oh, you don't work with straight people? And usually annoyingly in troll comments, bigoted, like, oh, you're bigoted, you don't work with straight people, you're discriminating against straight people. Spoiler alert, we do work with straight people sometimes, only the really coolest ones, but we do work with straight people sometimes. I just don't market to straight people. I'm not looking to find straight entrepreneurs. Straight entrepreneurs, by the way, would be a way too broad category of entrepreneurs. That's almost everybody is straight. Queer entrepreneurs is a little bit narrower. I'm marketing to queer entrepreneurs. Most of the people I work with are queer entrepreneurs. If a cool straight person comes along, sure, we'll work with them. I'm not excluding them, I'm just not marketing to them, and that is a difference. We want to make sure that we are being specific just in our marketing, just in our messaging. And one little cheat sheet on how to do this is to think about, if you're already in business, 80% of your people fall into this category. That's where I want to be marketing, and I'm not really talking to the outliers, even though I may still work with them. So for instance, I have a client who works with parents and works with parents of teenagers, and she was trying to narrow down the age range for a targeted ad on Facebook, and she was putting it from, early 20s to upper 60s, and I said, well, most parents of teenagers are probably around 35 to 50 years old. And she said, yeah, but you could have had a kid, at 14, and so you'd be 28 with a 14-year-old, or you could have, you could be raising your grandkids. And well, sure, there's lots of people that are in those categories, but 80% of the people that you're talking to that are parents of teenagers are going to fall in this, 35 to 50 range. So let's target our ads there. And if we get anybody else, great. But we've got to know who exactly we're talking to. Otherwise, we're wasting tons of time and money marketing to lots and lots and lots of people in their 20s who don't have teenagers and people in their 60s who don't have teenagers. And why would we do that? That is not, that's not who our ads are aimed at. And that's not what we want to do. So make sure that you're identifying your target segment. And by the way, if you have different products, different services, each one of those is going to have a different target segment. It might have multiple target segments. We could get way into the weeds on that, but that's way too complicated for a YouTube video. So all I want you to take away from today is make sure you have a target segment, make sure it's really specific, make sure you're talking specifically to them in your ads, and that you are not trying to talk to everybody, because trying to talk to everybody means that you are selling to nobody. Okay, that's all there is for today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and hit the button right here and subscribe. I do this a couple times a week, and I would love to see you and have you learn everything that I know about business. I'll give it all to you. If you have anything else that you want to hear me talk about, drop me a comment below. I will check it out, and I will take that under heavy advisement for future topics, I promise. Now listen, I got something new for you guys. It's a brand new training for queer entrepreneurs on how to survive and thrive in this crazy economic climate. There's a link right here in the description. Click that below. Check it out. You can drop me a comment about that too. Let me know what you thought about that. So that's what I got for today. I know you guys can do this. Go out there, let it shine, and I will talk to you next time.